Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Conversations with Nicole show. I'm Nicole Huckabee. My guest today is Matthew Gonzales. He's the founder and president of Known Management Group. KMG is a faith-driven, full-service boutique talent agency based in Charlotte, specializing in representing children, youth, and adults for print, TV, films, and commercials. The agency also places talent in major markets like New York City and Los Angeles, all while maintaining a commitment to integrity and personal connection. With over 25 years of experience in the modeling and acting industries, Matthew has worked with prestigious agencies like IMG and Warning Management. His exceptional scouting and talent development skills have allowed him to build a standout agency focused on providing opportunities in the Southeast and beyond. I hope you enjoy our conversation on how Matthew is shaping the next generation of talent and his vision for Known Management Group. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Conversations with Nicole show. I am delighted to have as my guest today, Matthew Gonzales. He is the founder and president of Known Management Group. Matthew, good to see you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much, Nicole, for inviting me.
I'm so delighted that you agreed to be my guest. You and I have had a chance to get to know each other over this past almost year or so, as I am now on your board, one of your clients.
I'm excited to represent you.
Well, and I appreciate that. It's been an humbling and honoring experience to be in your presence and to hear of all of your experience in this industry. So as I've gotten to know you, I was like, I got to have Matthew come and share his story on my platforms.
Absolutely.
Tell me about your background, how you came to be in this industry.
Yeah, well, a lot to talk about. You know, I'm a talker. I don't
Yeah,
shut up.
that's
My wife
good.
will even yell at me, Matthew, shut up. No, but I'm originally from Ohio. I got my degree from Bowling Green State in Ohio. That's one thing I stress with KMG. We stress education because you don't know how long acting modeling is going to last. I want you to get good grades in school. I got a degree from Bowling Green in film. I thought I was going to be in film. Moved to, my brother was living in Atlanta. He's like, well, move down here. You'll live for free. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Get out of Ohio. Did not want to be there the rest of my life. Moved down to Atlanta. And the crazy thing, Nicole, I was just looking for a job because I was living for free and my parents got me my car. So I was good there, kind of spoiled, I know. But I was on Craigslist, actually, of all places. And Craigslist, there was a intern position at Elite Atlanta. I knew nothing about modeling. I was best dressed, class of 95. Thank you very much.
Of course, we wouldn't expect anything less from you, Matthew.
Whatever. But I knew nothing about modeling, but I like clothes. I like fashion. So I went for the internship. I got it. Didn't get paid anything, but I learned a great deal with that position. Okay. For the first 6 months, I wasn't getting paid anything. Then it got paid like $10 an hour. But then they were like, you should work in New York. So I'd been going to New York since I was a kid. So I went and got myself 16 interviews in New York City. I did it myself with powerhouse agencies, calling as an intern. I got hung up on, I got whatever, but I got 16 interviews from IMG, from DNA, from Elite, Wilhelmina, Ford, and IMG and DNA offered me positions, and IMG is the biggest in the world. I knew I wasn't going to be an agent, so I took the front desk. I knew you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Been there, done that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
You got to just start it at the front desk, answering phones, passing it, to the agents there. But I was at IMG. It's the biggest in the world. Worked my way up. That's why I tell all my talent, you got to start somewhere. You got to find you got to start here to build here. So that led to finally working my way up, did that, and then was there for a period of time for 5 years. And then I relocated to Beverly Hills, worked for an agency out there. And then I somehow wanted to work. I got actually in racing, and a driver wanted me to get him in TV shows, magazines, and all that stuff. I'm like, well, I have all the context. I relocated to North Carolina, and I'm a man of faith. That NASCAR driver introduced me to my wife. So 19 years later, I'm still with Tanya. And well, I'm a man, like I said, Stanton Barrett. Thank you very much. And I relocated to North Carolina. I love it here because it's cheaper to live here. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I got started. So I started as an intern at Elite Atlanta and then worked my way up. And now I have my agency now. And I have my wonderful wife, who's my business partner, and we've created something amazing with KMG.
You have created something amazing. Before we get to the something amazing that you created, let's back up to those early days and talk about some of the people that you worked with. You worked with some really high profile people, and that really helps you with your connections now in your own agency.
Yes, absolutely. At IMG, I wasn't, specifically even at the front desk, you learn a great deal from the agents behind you. You're sitting behind you. We had Tyra Banks, we had Heidi Klum, we had Giselle. They were all there being represented. But I learned a great thing. You learn a great deal from people above you. And I did that. And I just, kind of had a notebook just taking, well, I didn't take notes, but mentally you take notes on how to be an agent. And then when I went to the men's board, I had a couple guys I represented. Taylor Kitsch was one of them. He was a model with me. But then Taylor, when I moved to California, he actually is a pretty big actor. Varsity Blues was his breakthrough role, and now he's done a lot of feature films. So I give him a lot of props, for that. So these are just people I represented. I represented Taylor back in the day. But yeah, I mean, I learned a great deal working in New York and LA to bring that to my agency now with KMG. And that's just how I run my company. Is what I learned, I brought here, and I'm just trying to build the talent I represent in the Southeast market. That's kind of how I do things.
Absolutely. So talk about starting your agency, what that looked like, how you've grown, and how you're helping people like me in my stage of my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did work for a previous agency in Charlotte. It was good. It was a good start in Charlotte. I learned a great deal there too, but I wanted to start my own. Okay. And I also wanted to have a boutique agency. I wanted to have an agency that's small. Okay. I just felt like having too many people on your board, I felt people, were getting ignored, whatever it may be. So I wanted to create something that I can give you undivided attention. That's what I wanted. So we created KMG and we started just in North and South Carolina. And that's what we were at. And in 8 years now, we are now in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and Texas. And we are expanding now to the West Coast. So we are growing in 8 years. I'm proud of that. So it's just about having that mentality that we want to build you, start you here at ground zero. That's what I say is the Southeast is a good market to start you down here. Don't fly to New York or LA because at IMG, we did open calls every Thursday. And for the 5 years I was there, one girl ever got signed
Wow.
from open calls because it's very hard to do that. You've got to build that, what do I want to say? You've got to build that portfolio book to make
Yeah.
sure
And
you're
your
going to.
foundation.
Yes. So, I learned that moving here, let's build you down here. And then I have a lot of doing this. I've done this for 25 years, Nicole. I've been in the
I
game a
know.
very
That's a
long
long
time.
time.
I know. Look at I
And
look
you're
very
only
old.
25. How could that be?
Exactly. I just had a birthday, but I've been doing this for 25 years. And, I really like to develop talent here at ground zero, I guess you could call it. Let's build you down here. People that come to me that have really nothing, let's build you down here because my agency is a boutique. So you're going to get the hands-on experience. Let's build you. Let's move you. Let's really see what we can do with you. If we don't see it, also, I say no to you. We get a lot of submissions every month. A lot of people I audition. Okay. But if it's just not there, I review my board. If I can have maybe one that's similar to you, but I do not have 3, 4, 5, 6 of you, that would not make me a boutique, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's what keeps us, that is what makes us different than a lot of agencies out there. Maybe in the Southeast, I don't know. But that's what I wanted was to have an agency that really focuses on our talent. That was my main thing. It's definitely quality, not quantity. Can't do that.
Right. And I'm sure the bigger agencies get caught up in that and you can become a part of one of those agencies and maybe feel lost. I would say not the case in your agency because you are getting more personal attention. So talk a little bit about how people get into the business, the process that they go through, because it's not really something that everyone knows about. I mean, I had to learn. I was in a different type of, on camera world, totally different from what you do. So walk us through the process of, hey, I think I might be funny, or hey, I think could be a model, or I could be an actor, that sort of
Absolutely.
thing.
And that's a good thing. I believe if you came to me with a resume that you've done for acting, maybe you've done some plays or you've done whatever it may be, that's good. I want to see stuff that you've done. If you came here with nothing, that's fine too. But if I see something, maybe our coaching will help you with that. Okay. We're not an acting school or anything, but we do coaching for those that maybe need it, that it's under my roof so I can really monitor how you are getting better. If you do it somewhere else, I have no idea. That's another thing. Okay. But we're not a school or anything. We just want to have it under my roof. I have an amazing acting coach and
Yes.
she's really good at what she does with her training. Okay. But it's definitely to get you really in this industry, you've got to have, if you have a resume, that's great. But if you don't, that's fine. But for modeling, shoot with professional photographers. Practice, if you have an act or a modeling coach, you can maybe get in contact with. Definitely. It's definitely ways that you can really make yourself stronger before you even come to an audition with me. And then when I do see your resume and if it's kind of bare, that's fine. But if I see something I can work with, I'm going to offer you possibly representation. If not, I'll be respectful and say, maybe come back in 6 months, but I will give you pointers when you do come back. Have this on your resume that I can then say, okay, then maybe we can work together, if that makes sense.
It does, and I want to let folks know that you don't get jobs every day in this business.
I was going to say,
Remind folks how that works, because it's hard work, and you better have a backup plan while you're building your acting career or your talent career, your modeling career, that sort of thing.
right,
Because there's so
exactly.
many people vying for those.
And that's what I tell people. Biggest thing I say in these auditions, you are going up against 4, 5, or 6,000 other people just for one job, even in the Southeast. It's so, because from social media to, I don't know, everything else, everybody wants to be famous now, it seems like.
Absolutely. They just
You
want to be
know?
famous. That's kind of a different shift. We used to want to grow up and have a great career in X, Y, or Z. Now kids today, and even adults, we just want to be famous. So it's a little different.
It
I'm
is
not
very
sure I buy
different.
into that, but
I
it is
don't
how
either.
our world is.
It is the world has changed a great deal. When I started in this industry 25 years ago, and it's really done a big swing. I mean, definitely. So it's just like, but for actors especially, you have to get ready to be told, no, you didn't get you didn't get the job or whatever. That's going to make you grow. So you get told no there, it's going to make you stronger to think, okay, mentally, how can I get myself better to get the next audition? That is the way the industry works. You got to be prepared to be told no. That's just it. If you're not, then this is not the right world for you. You know what I mean? And I also bring up in auditions, I'm going to really get an idea what you want to do. I need talent that come to me. If you come to me solely only wanting to model, then I'm going to say I'm maybe not the right agency for you, because the core of our auditions we get, especially in the Southeast, is acting. I came from the modeling world, as I told you, where I used to work. When I moved here, I had to learn acting because modeling is just not as big down here in the Southeast.
It makes sense, though. I would think that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It makes complete sense. I wish the Gap and J. Crew and Banana Republic cast down here, but they
Yeah,
don't. They did
right,
up there, up in New York, in LA, but that's
right.
okay. Use what God gave you, even modeling, use what God gave you to sell products. I mean, that's what you see as beautiful people on TV. So use that. If you can do a TV commercial, we get a lot of TV commercials in the Southeast.
Yes.
And if you're open to that, then I could work with you. But if you're solely just tunnel vision, only modeling, I'm not the right place for you. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you that. That's what makes us different than agencies also, is that I'm going to tell you, look, if all you want to do is model, then, if you're not open to acting, then I'm not the right place for you.
Yeah. And you have a lot of, obviously, the goal, young talent, groom them and help them to grow and that sort of thing. Talk about how your board is sectioned off. I mean, you are always looking for the younger talent. And so, well, not always, but
We have you,
well, I know.
but
I'm still trying to figure out if I'm a
no, you're
fluke or
still,
not.
but we fit you. But the thing is, though, you fit apart. I mean, I was missing you on my board. That's
I've
why I
gotten
asked.
jobs under you. So,
Yeah, well, we were missing a link. We were always looking for, the moms or the dads or whatever it may be that if I'm missing you, I'm going to offer you representation. Absolutely. But for kids, teenagers, young adults, then we're going to start building you also. Definitely. But we just want you to really focus on this, that you really want to do it. That's one thing I have to tell you. Look, if you're going to sign with me, you got to really want this. Don't waste my time. I get a
yeah,
lot of auditions. And if I'm interested in you and I feel I can really grow with you, because that's one thing that KMG does. We sign our talent. We're going to grow with you. We're going to build you because, again, I don't have 500 people on my board. I don't want that. But if I see something and you want this, let's work together as a team to build your career. I mean, that's my goal. Then if you want to be in the bigger markets, New York and LA, then maybe I can get you placed there. I have a lot of great connections still, but we still get, I mean, handling the Southeast, we get a lot of auditions down here. It's really good. And, with this stuff that's going on.
yeah. What would you suggest to people that are, I know you talked a little bit about that, but like a deeper dive into what you can do to take it to the next level or to really get into it. And I think the expectations too are often more than you get back once you start to see what this industry is all about. Does that
Right.
make sense what I'm trying to say? I mean, you have this glamorous picture of it's going to be like this and you're right. It's learning how to self-tape. It's learning how to audition over and over and over again. And like you said, not getting upset when you don't get the role, because I've done that personally. I've gone, yeah, I did everything that they said to do in that audition. I did this, I did that. I held the pose. Why not me? Explain to someone why it wouldn't have been me that day. It could have been that they liked the other blonde, or they already had a blonde. Like there's a means to the madness that sometimes the regular Joe doesn't know about.
Right. And it does, because you felt like, oh, I was so perfect for that. Why didn't I not get that? But you have to understand that person might have already had a connection with that casting director, or they might have, you just never know. You don't know what goes on behind that audition. Also, I don't even know, you know what I mean? But that's the thing with KMG. We've developed a lot of great relationships with casting directors. I'm the business side, so I'm the one that develops these relationships. And they really appreciate KMG, especially the casting agency here in Charlotte. They love to see KMG because they know they're getting quality. Okay, they know they're getting quality with these submissions that I send them. They know that we've really worked hard to get these people on our board, and they are ready to hit the markets for auditions. I don't just sign you if you are kind of brand new. Maybe you do need some coaching. I'm not just going to send you to the wolves the next day because you're not ready yet. Right. So, I'm going to suggest maybe you do some of our coaching that we offer, but definitely our goal is, yes. Also, back to your question though, getting that no told to you, it can break your heart, but you got to just shrug it off, move to the next one, and then move to the next one. That is how it works. Any celebrity that's in Hollywood, they probably got told no a million times until that one break. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. It's just like, one of my talent, Holden Smith, he's doing phenomenal for himself. He signed with me 4 years ago. And that little boy, he just did an Epson commercial with Shaquille O'Neal, did very well for himself. But this little boy, he signed with New York and LA agencies, him and his brother. But that little boy, when he signed with me, that audition, like he was just ready to just tear my face off on how much he wanted this industry. Those
Yeah.
are the ones I go for. And that
Yes.
showed me that look where his representation is. He's still with me. So just know that for any parent hearing this out, you get signed in New York or LA, you don't have to move there the next day. He still lives here in North Carolina, but when they get an audition, it's sent to them and they know what the next steps are of where they have to be, because everything's done with your phone now because of COVID and all that with auditions. But if they get the job, you need to be in New York or LA on these dates. Okay, so that's another fun fact that these people don't
Yeah,
know.
I was going to say it might be helpful to explain the process of how you can live in Charlotte or wherever, be represented by you, and still be able to have the connections in New York and LA through you. Explain that a little
No,
bit more
I will.
detailed.
I would be more than happy, and you're always like I am for modeling. I'll always be your mother agent. That's what I am. I'm the one that signed you. And if I got you for modeling, got you placed in New York or LA, then I'm still the one that can assist you with everything. Okay. Your agencies, I always tell people also, they're the ones that can get you jobs I can't get you, like for modeling. Gap, J. Crew, Banana Republic, Chanel, Louis Vuitton. I don't get those. I did, but I don't get those down here. But you're always going to have me to go to with that. But with, getting placed in the bigger markets, you live here in North Carolina, you physically don't have to move there. You're going to still live down here. That's fine, or North Carolina or any of the southern states you live in. And, that's just, you'll get the audition sent to you on when you physically need to be there. So that's just kind of how that all works, Nicole. Definitely
Yeah.
that it's such a great process that you'll still have me to go to. I'm going to always be with the contracts. I can review them with you. I've been doing this a very long time. I'm good with contracts to assist you, but I rely heavily on these agents that you're placed with. Okay. I have a lot of respect with these agencies you're placed with also. I know the good agencies and I know the bad agencies. Doing this as long as I have. Just
Yeah.
rely on
Well, we
me.
need you.
Yes. Just rely on me to assist you with with the selections you go with also.
What keeps you going in this business?
Yeah.
What is it about this business that just you love being a part of? Because
Oh,
it's not an
absolutely.
easy business.
Well, we've been open, KMG's been open for 8 years now. And I love, having my wife as my business partner. When we have Emily Angelo, she is my assistant booker / acting coach. It's just us three that run KMG. That tells you how selective we are, that I don't need a staff of 10 to 15 people with KMG to run my board. I don't need that. It's us three. We can handle it perfectly fine. But why? I just, I wake up every day, and I'm not being like a Hallmark card or anything, but I wake up every day loving what I do.
Love it.
I just love it because it's my job. I love to build careers. That is what KMG is all about, to be honest with you. I just love building careers that you put your trust in me, and I trust you to be in this industry, but you put your trust in me to build your career. So let's work together with a game plan. Okay. That's what I love about it. I just love waking up every day to just see what we can do. and review the auditions you've done or how we can make them better or anything like that. I mean, that's what it is. I just love what I do, and I've done it, like I said, a very long time. I have a degree in film. It's somewhere in my closet somewhere. I could always use that, but that's okay. It'll
It's
just
good to have the degree, right?
yes,
Absolutely.
I'm proud of that degree, but it'll stay in my closet. I'm happy with what I do.
I think that really is the bottom line is you have to love what you do because you love what you do and you love helping people and you love building their careers because that's just basically elevating your career as well. It's a win-win. And that's what makes you so successful in your agency. But also I would suspect that it's your faith that you lean on tremendously as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, absolutely. This industry, I tell my talent when we do the auditions and if I sign you that I really look out for you. That, I want everything to go through me. Okay. Like, Instagram, I don't trust Instagram. Everything goes through me. If you get, whatever it may be that possibly wants to photograph you, first send the information to me, then let me investigate it before you say yes or no on anything. That's just how I run my company. Okay. Because being faith driven, I brought that to how I run my company. My wife's the same way, that we just want everything that's right, okay, in this industry for our talent. That's just it. We just really look out for them too. I mean, it's definitely you just got to trust us to really build your career, but also try to take it to the next level, with going to New York or LA. That's just really rely on me to get you to that point. I'm excited if I can. We've been very successful with getting talent to that point. But yeah, I mean, with your question or what you asked me about faith driven, that's just the way I'm always going to live my life. And it's made me the way I am today. I thank my parents for giving this to me. And my daughter, she's 13, and we give it to her, and she really appreciates it also. So we're just a happy little family, I guess.
I love it. Well, as an adult, I have my faith and I love that about you. But I would think as a parent, having a child come into the industry, there can be a lot of scary moments, a lot of unknowns. And like you mentioned with the social media aspect, I mean, there's just so much out there that can grab our young people's attention and maybe lead them down the wrong path. And I love the fact that you are looking out for your clientele and that you're doing it with your faith first. I mean, to me, that would be so comforting to know as a parent if I was going to let my child get in this industry.
And that's exactly correct. And I'm very proud to say that to talent, that if I'm going to offer you even actually in the audition, I'm going to tell you that to the parent. Just know, ma'am, that I am here. If you were to sign with me, I'm here to look out for your child. I'm just here. That's my job. That is what, you're coming aboard. If you were to come on board with KMG, I'm here just to look out because it can be a dangerous industry, but it's good to have somebody looking out for any auditions that come our way or social media. Social media can be dangerous. That's why it can be very dangerous. You know what I mean? So allow me, like I said, that if anything outside of what auditions I send you, anything outside of that comes to you, make sure you go through me first. That's all I
Yeah.
ever ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't do anything. Just, oh, wow, that looks amazing. Yeah, I'm going to jump on that. No, first, let's go through Matthew, see what he thinks. Allow me to investigate it. And if I don't hear back from XYZ, then I know it was a scam or I know it wasn't real.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that, I have no problem doing that. I have no problem.
Especially in today's world, you have to be so aware of scams all across the board. So especially in this industry as well. So
Exactly. And that's why we're a boutique. That's why we're small. So I can really focus on you, to focus on building you. You have my undivided attention. My previous agency, I felt they did not get that. That's why I said, you know what? I want to create my own agency that I can give you this. That's why we created our boutique known management. You know what I mean? That's why we want to make you known. Hey, there's the name. Known.
Yeah, make you known. Now, I was actually going to get around to how you came up with the name, but now we know, make you known.
I started like at ground zero in the industry as an intern and then worked my way up. But like I said, with those 16 interviews, I did it myself. And yes, you get told no, but that's what I tell talent. You got to start somewhere. With auditions, you get, yes, you're going to get told no a lot of times, but you got to just shrug them off and keep getting yourself, keep training, keep doing photos, keep doing this. There's so much things you have to do to make yourself better, to make yourself stand out even more. Because like I said, you got to be better than the 5,000 or 6,000 other people you're going up against, right? That's why I rely on Emily. She's an amazing acting coach. That's not my world. Let me just be your agent and let's build your career. That's how
I love it. Well, you're doing a great job at that for sure. I love it. So let's talk about future goals for your agencies, for yourself. I mean, What does the future look like? I mean, you're growing.
Yeah, we are growing, and I'm proud of that. Like I said, we just started with an agency, the Music Factory, just handling North and South Carolina, but expanding now to Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, and now we're expanding to the West Coast. So we're growing, and that's amazing. And we're not done growing, which I'm excited about, but we still want to keep that mentality of still keeping it small. That's what I like. Okay, I want to keep that mentality, but it's good to expand to really see where this goes. That's what Tanya and I want to do with our company is expand this company and see what are the next steps. What is God going to take and lead us to? And it's definitely in 8 years, I think we've done pretty well for ourselves. But we just the sky's the limit is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But it's good to find talent that really want it. That's why we do auditions, every week, month, year. But it's just finding those right people that really stick out to me that I feel I can really grow with you. If your resume is kind of weak, I'll say, okay, we can possibly sign you, but let's do this, this, and this. But you just don't know. You don't know who
Yeah.
you're going to meet the next day.
Well, I have to say from personal experience, you have been so gracious with me coming from an industry where I knew nothing about this side of on camera world or acting or anything to help and guide me. And you kind of had to, don't do that, do this, do that, okay, I got it, but you never made me feel bad if I was getting something wrong. You just said,
No,
let's keep going or, and help me.
absolutely.
So
And that's our mentality.
yeah.
It's always going to be that way, Nicole. It's definitely always going to be that way because it's that, professional relationship we build and that makes you trust in us to build your career. That is what I'm here for. But also, you want this, you want to build your career. That's what we're here for. You're just going to get, this attention you deserve. I mean, that's what any
Well,
real agency is going to give you.
it is quite interesting. When you least expect it, you get something. Actually had the opportunity to play just a day player, which just means I show up for one day. They were filming this movie in Charlotte, and I just sort of had the look.
Hmm.
And they came to you, and I was available, and I got the gig. And here I was playing the wife of Eric Roberts. And I walked in and didn't even realize I was going to be playing alongside this well known actor. And I was like,
Right?
whoa.
That's a great
So
feeling.
I loved it. I mean, and, the pay's not that great. And I think that's a lot of people think you're going to make a bazillion dollars and you do have the potential to do well
Right.
depending on the track that you take. For me, it's different. So the experience alone just was phenomenal for me because I was just absorbing everything that was going on behind the scenes because I thought next time I'll know this and next time I'll know that. I was doing that mental notebook thing that you were talking about. So I'll
Right.
be ready and always being kind and
Yeah.
gracious because you are building the relationships.
Yes, and that's a great point that you just said. On set, you want to give them kindness, attentiveness, and just be really direct with, that you can't be disrespectful, or you won't get called back. I learned that, in the modeling world when I was in New York, my models could never have, this rude, whatever attitude on set because you're not going to get the job. They're not going to bring you back. You know what I mean? They only want people that are really going to, because some of these productions are very expensive to do and they need people that are just going to go along with it and that are doing a phenomenal job, but are not giving an attitude. That's the biggest thing. You can't have an attitude on set because if you do, you're going to get black flag. You're just not going
It's not flattering at all, at all. And thankfully, I haven't really witnessed any of that. Even when I was on set with Eric Roberts, he could have had an attitude, but he didn't. He was very gracious. So it was actually good to see that because, we probably think we hear the stories about behind the scenes, how some of
right.
these people are, but it really does make a difference when you are with people who are kind and thanking you for being there. Just as a wonderful experience when you get that, which is not always the case, of course, but
Right.
we can only control ourselves, right?
No, exactly. But that's always mentally, you just got to know this, especially for newbies, that this is your first production you've done. Go in there just excited. Go there, follow direction, be disciplined to do this because if they love you, you're gonna remember you and they're gonna bring you back. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing you got to remember. Okay. Even if you're just starting out, you want to have that kind of attitude. And I just tell them mentally, just go in there, just be headstrong and give them everything you got. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my time in it, and I am very thankful to you for taking me on as one on your board and working with me to elevate me and help me get opportunities
No.
because I would want to be with someone like you in your agency because of what you stand for. And I think that's where the match comes in with folks. Don't you think that
Yeah.
that match that you're looking for?
Yes, it is, and we have we've done very well with the jobs we've booked, with the talent we sign, and having a boutique agency that I can really focus on my talent to build your career. But if I sign you, you got to really want it, like I originally said, and then really take the steps to see what to take the next steps to land those auditions we give you, because they're going to be right in front of you to do the audition, and hopefully you land them. But if you don't, just go to the next one. That's kind of how it all works.
And, a shout out to Emily, your acting coach. She's phenomenal.
Yes,
She's
thank you so much
phenomenal.
for saying that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of trust in her because she's good at what she does. And, she really, she knows the game. She's a working actress herself, but she really is great at coaching you to provide the next steps of acting. You know what I mean? I almost want to take them, but I'm not an actor. That's not my role.
Well, I'm learning. I'm improving a little by little. So that's the name of the game. Just get better as you go.
Absolutely.
Listen, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but any final thoughts, and how can people connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Well, thank you so much for, allowing me to meet with you, Nicole. I've really enjoyed this. This is great
Yeah.
talking with you about this industry. As you know, like I said, I'm a talker. I love to talk, but I love to talk about this industry. I love to take people under my wing, build your career, and see what the next steps are. But, the next steps are for those that want to possibly audition with my agency. Go to our website, which is knownmanagementgroup.com, or our Instagram, known_management. It'll tell you all what the steps are to audition for us. And I would love for that opportunity. It gets sent in and then possibly get to me.
That's great. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for being my guest today, giving us the behind the scenes of what it's like to be an agent and represent individuals and help them reach their goals and dreams. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. You're very much welcome.
Yeah, and that will do it for this edition of the Conversations with Nicole show. Until I see you again, I hope you have a great day.